Hey, I'm Kev. Welcome back to rFactor 2. Has once again won the Tatuus FT-60, starting 5th. Out of 16 drivers here. Another 14 that race. In New Zealand this time. Around the Manfeild Circuit Chris Amon track, as we'll be reviewing basically the 2021 racing series, where they held their final 4 races of the championship, including the final race of the season, battling for the Denny Home Memorial Trophy at this circuit. And that's a decent start. So we've held off 5th place. As once again we get to 100% level opponent. Saw the same settings from last race. But yeah, 4 races this time. We had 3 in the first weekend at Hamptonsdown, 2 in the second. And out, they had 4. They had 2 on the Saturday, 2 on the Sunday this past weekend. Or early today, as I'm recording this. On the Sunday, that is. And races weren't great, but there's only 6 drivers, unfortunately, this weekend. No Tom Alexander. He was at the second weekend in Hamptonsdown because he couldn't raise the 30,000 New Zealand bucks for the weekend, unfortunately. But he was at the circuit. He did some co-commentating for the Sunday race as well, which is good to hear. And one of the Lynch brothers as well. It was Damon. Commentate on the Saturday races. Do all co-commentating. It's always good hearing from him. So on the Saturday, or heading into the weekend, we're going into the weekend in the middle about the races, but had Matthew Payne went off 2 wins at Hamptonsdown, leading the championship ahead and Gotta. We have Billy Fraser, Conrad Clark, Peter Bonodovic and Chris Vlock. The 6 have competed in the final weekend. When we still had Shane Van Gisbergen in the top 5 after Hamptonsdown 2, but of course he was not going to add to his total. But it was Tom Alexander. So aside of this 6 in the championship, we had Shane Van Gisbergen in 7th. Oh god, we've gone wide. Oh, held on. Shane Van Gisbergen in 7th after winning all the races in the first weekend at Hamptonsdown, including the New Zealand Grand Prix. Tom Alexander in 8th. Chris Van der Drift in 9th.
Take it easy, you've got cold tyres.
Then Damon Leach in 10th after the top 5 in a couple of races in Hamptonsdown, 1 including in the New Zealand Grand Prix. And then outside the top 10 in the final championship standings, we had Andre Harmgartner, who finished runner-up. New Zealand Grand Prix. Brandon Leach, the other Leach brother. Daniel Gaunt, who was leading New Zealand Grand Prix for a long time, was the 2-time New Zealand Grand Prix winner until he ran into issues that race. And Josh, Beth Greg Murphy, the legend, the supercar legend, and Kenny Smith, a New Zealand racing icon, who competed in his 50th New Zealand Grand Prix at the right young age of 79. So that is your championship standings outside the top 6, because top 6 competed. The 4 races here.
Clear left. Your right sides are cold. Easy car on your left. Clear left.
So on the Saturday, the 2 races, they were won by Matthew Payne. The teenager extended his lead in the championship over Caleb and got 2 podiums as well, who's 2nd and 3rd. But just no one had the pace of Matthew Payne and the Circuit Chris Amon. And at the podium in the first race was Conrad Clark in his first podium actually, should I say, of the Toyota Racing Series. And then in 4th was Billy Fraser, ahead of Peter Bonodovic, and then finishing 6th was Chris Vlock, who finished in 6th in all of the races. Like, he was a very fast starter, but always seemed to run into, it seemed like tyre issue, or just keeping consistent at times, was locking up, was getting the car a bit sideways as well on occasion, including going off the circuit in the 3rd race. But he did provide most of the battling as well, did Chris, so it was entertaining having him in the races. Just a shame he didn't quite keep his pace up from the early stages. But yeah, magnificent starts he had. It was probably the best starter of the weekend. Always making up at least 2 places at the start. As in the first race, yeah, Peter Vodovic actually lost a couple of places. He was starting on second row and he got a very low start. I know he's front row, I think, actually. Now, but yeah, he had a very slow start, lost a couple of places. Yeah, it's okay. Was battling with, well, trying to battle with Matthew Payne early on. Matthew Payne held on and just eased away, like he did in the second race as well. As finishing second was Peter Vodovic, though, head of Kev Mangota. And then in fourth was Conrad Clark with Bree Fraser in fifth, as Fraser actually had issues on the grid, had to start from last, which was actually like 7th on the grid, instead of starting in 4th, I think it was. I remember now. Be on the inside. It would have actually been 3rd on the grid. They would have started, but yeah. Started in 5th. Now make up many positions, unfortunately, in the race. Oh, this car's stretchy. So I was thinking about the lap times in the game. We're doing like 103s, 102s in the race. So we're doing 104s, 103s for Payne. So it shows that at least a second quicker here in the sim, even on my level compared to real life.
Air and track temps decreasing. Air temperature is now 23. Track temperature is now 23 Celsius.
But yeah, not too much excitement in the Saturday races, but Sunday race, I think the Denny Home, the final race of the season, Denny Home Memorial Trophy race, was actually the most exciting. Oh, and the winner of the second race won the Griffin Trophy as well. They were battling for that. But the third race was the only race which Matthew Payne didn't win, as the teenager did cross the line first, though, by like 9.6 seconds ahead of B. Fraser. He started on the front row, kind of battled a bit with Payne early on before Payne just extended his lead. And then in third was Peter Vodovic. As in Arsenal's course Chris, and then Caleb and Gotter in fourth and Conrad Clark in fifth. As on the opening lap, once again Chris got his magnificent start, batting for the podium places. So we had Matthew Payne in first, was it Peter Vodovic in second. But about for third, intensified in the middle sector. Like into turns, only 7 turns here around this, around 3 kilometre, just under 2 mile long circuit. And so into turn 3, like that left-hander downhill. I guess it's technically the 4th corner, isn't it?
On your left. You're clear left.
But yeah, into that left-hander, like, Herbert went for the move. He had to. He's chasing the championship. Matthew Payne is once again leading.
Sector 1 is 0.4 off the pace.
But he dived down the inside, Chris. Exactly here. But clipped that curb on the inside and spun the car on the opening lap, so the safety car came out. And that was basically championship over for Caleb. And I said he couldn't make much progress after that. But in the final race, also during the race, before we move on to the final race of the season, Matthew Payne finished the line, I said 9.6 ahead of Billy Fraser, but he got a couple of penalties. And during the race, he got a 5-second penalty for parking his car in New Zealand. They required the car to be parked behind, like the front wing behind the white line. He had his front wing on the right line, so it was like a couple inches, but still, right rules.
Still there.
Well, got a good battle going on it.
We think that's spring. Spin it. Hold your line. All clear on the left.
But we just hold on. So that's a 1 5-second penalty. Then after the race, he got another 5-second penalty. Because we've been investigating the last few laps. Of course, he was with Kerman got to like he got going again, but he was behind the safety car, so he was trying to unlap himself and get wrapped round for the restart. When he did that, Payne was like weaving behind the safety car, and yeah, he got a 5-second penalty for being unsafe. And man, he had a face like thunder when he came out the car after the 3rd race. So just happened in the 4th race. Matthew Payne dominated, won the Toyota Racing Series, won the Near Home Memorial Trophy by over 15 seconds ahead of B. Fraser, should I say. And then we had Conrad Clark in 3rd, Peter Voinovich in 4th, Kevin Gotter in 5th, and Chris Falk in 6th. Even though we had some good battle in between, in the early stage between Chris Falk, Conrad Clark, Kevin Gotter, Peter Voinovich as well. There's some hairy moments, especially for Conrad Clark early on. But he got into the grass and a bit sideways. Chris Falk was battling very hard until he went off at this corner. Battling with Kevin Gotter. So that gave youngster 5th place. But in the final standings, Matthew Payne, 287 points, 229 for Kevin Gotter. Like Payne was basically just the class of the field those last couple of weekends. And best of the rest as well behind Shane Gisberg and Chris van der Drift and Andre Harmgartner in the first weekend at Hamptons Down. So no real surprise he's won the championship as a teenager. Kevin got 2nd. Lydia Fraser in 3rd with 201 points after a very strong last weekend. His first victory in the Toyota Racing Series. And Conrad Clark in 4th, Peter Voinovich in 5th, and Chris Bullock in 5th with 149 points, 167, 183 as well for those 3. The overall for the Toyota Racing Series very strange in 2021, of course, with just New Zealand drivers, very short fields for Hamptons Down 2, and of course at Manfeild as well. Though I really hoped we could have all like 16 competitors for all 3 weekends, but yeah, it never really was going to happen. I mean, the Shane Van Gisberg and Andre Harmgartner went supercars testing like the Wednesday after the New Zealand Grand Prix weekend, and we're going to see the same for, say, like Matthew Payne as well. He's competing in the Carrera Cup in Australia this coming season, so he's on Wednesday again. He's going to be going to Australia. It was announced as well during the weekend that B. Fraser will be going to America in the USF 2000 series, which is very exciting. Like, USF 2000 is perhaps the most competitive out of all of the Indy Road to Indy series in the entry level. Boys, I'll say most competitive. Cape Motorsports have mostly dominated in the last decade, but you do get quite a few different race winners. And even last year, despite Rasmussen dominating for half the season, you had like Eldorado Barrichello, for example, come up and battle him in the second half of the season. So it's really interesting last season as... Oh yeah, they're going to be pitting again. God damn it. Oh, I've got to fix that. So once again, we're going to be nicking top 5 or something again. Unjustly. As, what the hell? Why is he taking us out?
Incident in Sector 3. Sector 3 is yellow. Sector 3 is clear. It looks like...
Oh, they were trying to pit, weren't they? I don't know.
Pretty bad shape. You might need to fix that. One more lap to go.
We'll go final lap then. Yeah, we're going to see B. Fraser. Conrad Clark still working on a program, unfortunately. So we'll see where he is. Kevin Gotter would be interested in what he's in as well rest of this year, but in total it's pretty nice hit for one-off, seeing like an all Kiwi field. Of course, I'm opening 2022. You can return to normal in the Toyota Racing Series, and got the mixture of, you know, local talent from New Zealand, Australia, battling the likes of international youngsters and stars like we saw in 2020. We saw like the Igor Fraga battle Liam Lawson for the title. And in the past we've seen like some Marcus Armstrong, Robert Schwartzman, Lando Norris, Lance Stroll come over and win. And battle and win the New Zealand Grand Prix as well. So, yeah, pretty good for one off. Just a shame we didn't get, you know, too many cars for the rest of the weekend.
You deserve that today.
Whatever you say, crew chief, I don't think I really did deserve that win, as everyone else just pitted. But yeah, what did you think of the New Zealand Toyota Racing Series? If you followed it this year, what's your hopes for next year for the Toyota Racing Series? Got any eyes on like Kiwi youngsters to look out for, Aussie youngsters as well? Keep an eye on. And what do you think of maybe like Matthew Payne, maybe being like a future supercar star, maybe? Or the likes of Shane Van Gisbergen and co, or becoming like a GT racer or Super Cup driver like Earl Bamber, like he did, came from single seaters into the Carrera Cup, and then of course became a factory Porsche driver, and as I said, the rest is history for Earl Bamber. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed these kind of races covering the Toyota Racing Series. I'll be back next year as well, covering 2022. And of course, we're going to do a victory lap here as well for the finale. But once again, coming back to these cars, I definitely have lost some pace compared to last season. If you compare my lap times, I think I'm probably like at least half a second slow compared to what I was last year. I was once in, we got the graveyard of FT-60s everywhere. Oh my god, it's like half the field is like out here. Trying to hitch a ride back. Yeah, look at it. Right, we definitely got the look at. Oh my god, it's more than half the field. I think only like a handful finished. But yeah, I'll be back with hopefully some more rFactor 2. I think only one other car finished. I think that's like us and someone else. That was it. Back with more rFactor 2, like especially the ranking system when I actually get good, and I actually got some decent races to show off from that, because they're so far apart. I find it difficult to actually take part in it. But like, because it's that like I signed up for the series, and then they change the races every few days. It changes sometimes. I think it changes the times. I've only managed to catch one race so far, and that was my first race. I was a bit off the pace, so it was a bit boring, as I wasn't very good. So yeah, once I actually find a decent race on the ranking system, I'll definitely show that off, and yeah, show off some more rFactor 2. Like, so I'm really enjoying like the driving in this. There's quite a lot of content as well to delve through as well and try out. Adding content all the time as well for signing up for all these series. So like half the ISI stuff I didn't sign up for, they've of course been like got a project going on, do Shooter 397 to redo some of that and update it like they did with Indianapolis this month. So I'll probably show off a race around Indianapolis because they had a new layout, I believe, as well. Updated it to, but I updated it to 2020 spec, so it should be looking shiny and brand new. And then yeah, hope I can show off some more rFactor 2 stuff. There's always like mods on the works now as well. So yeah, it's an interesting time for rFactor 2. Like, it's no longer like the like sick cousin or sim racing sims maybe. It's like had a pretty good 2020 and seems to be getting better all the time. So thanks for watching, and I will see you all next time.